Hello, my friends. John LaRuffa here with another rules speed through. And in this episode, I'm going to teach you how to play Honey Buzz, and I'm going to also show you how to play the solo mode for it. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, folks, as usual, please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. If you have, I really do appreciate the support. Thank you very much. So I've got the game kind of set up in like a mock setup right now. Let's assume this is about halfway, maybe 2/3 of the way through the game. And this is what you're going to be doing in the game. You are trying to score the most points you can with fulfilling whatever your minimum threshold is for these solo contest cards. So the first thing you have to do after you set up the game is choose your difficulty level that you want to compete against. Once you've done that, you have to get that amount of points or more on these three cards if you want to be able to even win. Once you've done that, then you score those points plus the points for your contracts plus the points for the coins, okay? And then you get your final score and you can compare it to the score at the end of the game. Now, how does the game work? You're going to do two things on your turn, one of two things. You're either going to place a beeple, all right? And the rules for placement is if you place it in a spot that has no beeples at all of yours, you can just place one. But if there's already one there, you have to at least place two to make more, all right? Or to go again in that space. You can never place on the space for the drones where they are from a solo standpoint. They will move around in these columns and these columns only. And when they're in that location, you cannot place and take that action. When you place a beeple, you will choose a tile in that section. In this case, there's two different tiles you can choose, but all the other ones have one. You will pick up the tile. In the case of the wild tile over here, the decree, you have to pay 5 coins out of your supply to place it down, but everyone else, you pick the tile up, and you can put it anywhere that you can fit it in your hive, but the yellow corners must touch each other. So this is not legal, okay? Neither is something like that, all right? So you have to put it so that the yellow tiles touch each other. So if I put it right here, my turn would be over. That would be it. However, if I make a stack of tiles that completes, I shouldn't say a stack, but completes a hole, okay, then I will take and activate each and every one of the icons on the beehive area, all right, that are right next to that hole that you've walled in. Now, in this case, this is a weird hole in the fact that it doesn't match any of these spots over here because, as you can see, there is no red in the center. However, most of your holes, like this one, or if I was to put it right here, for instance, they have a slot that matches this card right here. And that means when you forage, you can get a token out of this area and put it there for making honey later on in the game, all right? Now, once you've placed your tile, the rule is that even if you manage to activate two different holes at once and two different rings, you can only ever activate a action one time. So if somehow this was combined in two different things, I don't know, I don't have a space I can demonstrate that, but you can only take that action on the board once, all right? But you could take multiple of the same action if they're around the same ring. So if I just, for instance, close this up, I would take two of these actions right here. The other thing is you must take every action at the end of the game. You may not skip any actions. I'm sorry, not at the end of the game. By the end of your turn, you may not skip any actions, but you have the option of when you want to take them. But if you can take them, you must. Now, what are the different ones? First, let's talk about forage. Forage is where you will take your bee token, your scout, and you will move it one space orthogonally on this grid, and you will then either stop there or pay 1 coin to continue on, 1 coin per space. And when you've landed on a spot, if that spot matches one of your open spaces, you can take that nectar tile. So for instance, if I was to forage right now, I could place it right here. I could take the nectar tile and I could put it right in the matching spot right there, and that would be the forage action. However, if I could not, or if I landed on a spot that was empty, I would take one of these pollen tokens instead, and you just keep this in your supply. And you can sell those to the market when you take the market action. If I do the produce action, which is the one with the fan, I will take this fan token right here, and I will play it someplace in between 2, or even if I'm lucky, 3 of my nectar tokens. And if, as long as the token, it does not have a nectar on it, it will produce a nectar of that type. However, if there is one on there, it doesn't produce the second one, okay? And that's the way that the produce action works. In order to take the market action, that is where you will either fulfill a contract and then take the action which you must take after you fulfill that contract, or you will make one sale to the market up there. So let's talk about fulfilling a contract. If I wanted to fulfill this contract right now by taking the market action, I would have to have each of these types of honey. Well, I happen to have that. So I would go ahead and discard this and this. I would take this contract to be worth 7 points for me at the end of the game. And then, because I took it from this spot, I'd flip over another contract and I would have to take a forage action, whether I wanted to or not. And then you say, well, why wouldn't you want to? Well, sometimes the market actions, if you have to take a market action, you may not want to sell something. Maybe you're trying to go for a contract because you have some type of order that you need to fulfill in a minimum amount or something like that. So there are occasions where it would be nice if you didn't have to, but you have to. So that is the fulfilling the order, but you can also sell to the market. When you sell to the market, you can sell any number of one type. So for instance, if I wanted to sell the market, I could sell these two rosemary, and I would get 8 coins for both of these, okay? And then I would drop the value a single, what is that, rosemary? A single spot. Even though I sold 2, I would only drop it a single spot. When you fulfill an order, you don't drop the market at all, okay? It stays where it is. And these numbers over here correspond to the payout. I could also sell pollen if I wanted to, but that's, again, it's only one type of thing, okay? That's the market space. Now for accounting, it's quite simple. The accounting space looks like this. All you do is take $5. Pretty simple, easy to score, no problem. The new bee space, which looks like this, you take a bee from your supply and put it into the hive, and when you retrieve all your workers, you'll retrieve that one as well. And then finally, the decree space is this one right here, and that will be a wild. You can do any of the other 5 actions. Once you finish taking all your actions, your turn is over, and then it is time for the AI to take their turn. But before I display that, if you don't have any bees left, or you don't have enough bees to make an actual turn because things are, you can't afford to put anything anywhere, you must retrieve all your bees. And when you do that, you take them all off the board, and then you're allowed one free movement with your scout anywhere you want. You can go in any direction, but you can't pay extra coins, and you don't get the actual reward of foraging. You just get to move him, okay? And that is when you return all of your bee pulls to your hive. So those are the 2 things you can do in this game. In the game, you're either going to put out bee pulls, take a tile, put it down. If you put the tile down and it completes it opens or puts an empty area in there, then you complete each of these actions, which you must take going around. Or you return, grab all your workers, bring them back, and then you get a free scout action from the nectar side, but not a forage action. You just get to scout, moving that once. Now, what does the AI do? The AI is simple. They are going to flip over a card from their stack. It is going to tell you something, in this case, cherry blossom. So you're going to look at where your scout is, and the nearest cherry blossom nectar tile, which in this case is here, you will either discard this, or you will move down the cherry blossom 1 space on the market. Either or. Then you will look and see, okay, decree and accounting, that's this side. You're going to move this beeple over here. This is a dividing line. So this beeple stays over here, this beeple stays over here, and they move in block spaces. And that is it. If you come to the end of the deck and you only have 1 more card, like this, you'll shuffle all the cards together and then flip them hive face up and deal another card and do what it says. It will also call out the highest number of whatever is highest in the market. If there's a tie, you get to choose, you move it down. And it'll also call out, one of these says order card, and you get to choose any order you want and discard it. The game ends when 2 out of the 3 order piles have been completely exhausted, or when all of the market movements have, 4 of the 5 resources have gone all the way down. So if it was like this, the game would end, all right? Now, it does not end on his turn. It only ends on your turn. So if he was the one to drop it, you would take 1 more turn. If you were the one to drop it, that would be it. Or if you exhausted 2 out of these 3 stacks. Then at the end, you look and you make sure you've met the minimum requirements to win the game. If you've met the minimum requirements, you sum up the score here, the score in your coins, and the score in your contracts, compare it to the back, and see how you did. And that is how you play. Now, there is another side of this board which has a variant, which I'm not going to describe. You can figure that out on your own from the rules. Fairly straightforward. It's just a one-page advanced variant type you can look at. And again, this is just the base game, so I'm not covering any other expansions or anything of that nature. All right, that should do it. So thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And whatever you do in the future, I really hope you have a fantastic time doing it. Take it easy, everybody.